All right, Bob, excuse the software. We might get something better one day. But what I'm seeing in your setup is the ball is a little bit too far back in your stance. You have it off your right ear. It makes it easier to hit the ball before you hit the ground, but that's not the goal. The goal is to put the ball at the target. We want that ball further up in your stance to promote your weight shift forward. Right now, you're spinning your weight all backwards, trying to keep it back here on this ball, and that's just not letting you get through. So I would say that you need to get that ball more on the left side, your left ear, get it more up front to start with. And let's go to the next. All right, now you can see that on your takeaway, you've moved your head a good 5, 6 inches. It's at least the width of your head. So whatever your swing thoughts are to get the club moving, don't think about the club head. Don't think about keeping it low and slow, or your shoulder, your left shoulder. Don't think about your shoulder under your chin. None of that. Just think about your right shoulder blade moving towards the target, and then your head will stay exactly where it was, and you're not going to have trouble swaying anymore. Practice a few buckets like that, and you'll get rid of this problem for life. Now, the other thing in your setup is that your knees are probably bent a little bit too much, and you aren't bending over enough from the waist. You really need to bend over more from the waist, but feel your weight behind your arches. You don't want your weight on your toes, and you don't want it on your heels, but you want that weight like right at the front of your ankle. And you've got to get that weight back there, and you've got to feel like you're sitting back when you start to swing so that you can lift that club up high. Right now you're spinning that club around you, and that right elbow is already in trouble, and we'll see on the next one what happens. Now you can see that as you're coming through, your right arm is indeed crashing into your body. It had to from way back where it was. And at the same time this is happening, you're standing up to make some room and to catch your balance. And this is all compensations. And you're going to have to time this every single time. Not a good thing. So we want to keep that elbow more out in front. And believe it or not, it doesn't mean pushing your arms out. It means bending your waist. If you bend your waist, your arms will naturally come forward because they're connected by your spine. So we got to bend over a little bit more, stand a little bit taller, and get that club going a little bit more vertical. All right, another good indication that you're flipping is that just at impact or right after impact, you see this collapsing of the angle between your left arm and the club. The club head should really still be out at the end of your arm here. So this is a flip happening. And now we've got a full-blown chicken wing. And again, this is all indicative of being too close to the ground for the arc that we were putting on it with our shoulders. And the way you reduce that arc is that shoulder, that right side has to go down and not out. When it goes down, then this arc is going to flatten out at the bottom, and you're going to have really good misses instead of real steep, fat shots all the time because you're hitting down on the ball and hoping that you clip it just right every time. It's always a hope. We get that ball up in front, and the worst you'll do is thin it 80 or 90% of where you want it to go to dead straight, and you're going to love those misses. All right, this flat shoulder finish is another indication of a flip, believe it or not. So again, you want to try and think of your right shoulder really staying down. Try and think of that right ear to the pillow, as they say. When you are swinging and hitting the ball, try and keep that right ear really pointing down to the ground. And that'll help promote keeping that hip back. But really, at this point, you're standing up at the end of the swing. You were squatting down at the beginning of the swing. I think you need to really be thinking about the opposite, standing up at the beginning and being more crunched over at the end to improve that all your misses.